I keep thinking about this crack and what it's really telling us. I'm using the dead load, the dead weight of the structure to create the force that creates this cracking, and that is not there is nothing wrong with that thinking, because obviously there was no live load on the structure, so it is the dead load creating this cracking. So that's fair game. And it would be over the spans, the unsupported span. That would be the dead load that we're referring to. Everything else would be redirect down to the piers. So, with that said, the dead load that I'm referring to is that. Now, how would this open up? How could it open up if longitudinal post-tension cables were functioning? And if they were functioning, yep, trying to get an image. Hold on. If they were functioning, how can the deck open up? The cables wouldn't allow for that elongation. The cables are in the decking. Here's the transverse cables. This is one of them. It's pretty far off, so I don't know if that transverse cable is an issue. It looks pretty far set back from that crack. But you would have a series of post tension cables. These guys here, was it 6 of them on each side? On the one side, this side of the structure where the crack is showing. This is the back span, the smaller span. I think if you only see 3, so we'd be looking at 6. So this side, perhaps some post-tension cable failure, and that would give us our imbalance. Remember, I'm always looking for equilibrium. Since this bridge is designed with equilibrium in mind, whatever's to the left is done to the right. And so the cracking, you would think, would be symmetrical, or close to symmetrical, if you will. Not identical, but just equilibrium. Cracking on this side, cracking on that side. So I'm throwing out there that maybe some of these post-tension cables failed on this side, and perhaps and then now that puts the load on. That gives you a torque. That torque I was looking for. That rotation, positive, negative rotation, or as everybody likes to say, clockwise, counterclockwise, left, right, however you want to look at it. Nobody's going to punish you for that. And a couple of trolls on there punish me for not saying things like that. But you know what? That's not what my channel's about, is it? So I'm wondering if here's the here the cracking would be on this side, right? Coming this way, right? Coming this direction, coming around, perhaps going through underneath this a little bit, and then here we see some of it with the 2 pieces of rebar sticking out. 2 pieces of rebar, and then a little bit of cracking there. And then the cracking is not showing here, obviously. I'm wondering if some of this post-tensioning right here, the longitudinal going to full length, failed. Did it fail? Was it overworked? Was it overstressed? Just throwing that out there, and let's see if I can get you one more. See, these are the transverse cables, and these are longitudinals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's the center deck line. So this is the opposite side. It would be the crack on the opposite side going in that direction. Here we are again. So on this side. Now he sticks a ruler down approximately 4 inches and some change. And hold on, I'm going to try to get you a depth. But I'm wondering if some of that broke. Sorry about that. I wonder if some of those post-tension cables broke or just elongated where just where it's no longer functioning, and just creeps until it can no longer even stop itself from going. The cables had to break eventually, but I wonder if they were on their way out right then. I'm just throwing something new at you guys, something a little different thinking on this. The cover is not much on that, and that would be the part that would be holding the deck from here up. And I'm going to get you a cover on that. Trying to find it. Center line, it looks like 8 1/8 inch, and the ductwork is, well, I'm confused. Some of it's 2, some of it's 4 inch. So 1 inch or 2 inches off, about 6 inches of cover approximately. That's not too bad. But were they grouted again? Remember, my major thing is the grouting. Were they grouted? If they weren't grouted, that this thing just the tubes break that I'm referring to these as, the hollow tubes, ungrouted tubes, ducking. Not the literal the ducking, but the ducking, but where the tunnel is created by the ducking, eventually would break, crack, and maybe that's the straw that everyone's looking for. I try to think a little differently. What if I find a different mechanism of failure besides the guy's post tensioning, and I'm kind of crushing on this, right? The post tensioning was not being done before the cracks were created, so it was on its way out the door before the guys got in there trying to post tensioning it. I know everybody like to say that the post tensioning did it, but this was on the way out the door before they started doing it. So let's get you that. Again, no post tensioning taking place yet. This is on the way out the door. It's done. We're up 4 inches, and I don't know if he's holding back on the tape on this or not. I don't know what the extent of that is, but clearly I can see the aggregate face, and if I can only figure out the angle, we could figure out the width also. But that's a huge separation, and you see that what appears to be a jog here, coming closer to the rest of the screen, and it doesn't match up over here. So where is the piece that this is supposed to match up to? This looks like these pieces look like they match, but where's this other section in the middle here? Did he pull it out? Was it a huge another piece and they literally lifted it out? In other words, this piece perhaps doesn't match to this piece. That we're looking at this point down here, we're looking at an elevation of about, maybe 3/8 of an inch only, no, I shouldn't have said it that way. Approximately 3/8 of an inch here, maybe this would have shown more, but now we're looking at a huge difference. You can see the difference here too. The elevation changes. Okay, so just wanted to throw that at you guys. Hope you can get that. And I had a couple people, a couple of trolls come at me. One of them claimed to be an engineer, so a structural engineer, but he made no effort to tell me what I did wrong. He made no effort to tell me what he saw is correct. Just a troll. So I'm obviously offended this person. You know how the way it works. My amygdala file is. I make a file that attacks somebody's conclusive file, and it's just an attack on their part. So I kind of welcome intellectual stimulation from anybody, especially anyone claiming to be a structural engineer. More forensic engineer, I would feel more appeared with. If one of you guys are forensic engineer and want to come at me, then I definitely would welcome the forensic part of it. Okay. And wish you guys the best. Thank you. Take care.